Grand Junction, Colorado, played a significant role in the development of the U.S. nuclear arsenal during the Manhattan Project and the Cold War, when weapons production created a huge demand for uranium. From 1950 to 1969, the Climax Uranium Company mill produced 2.2 million tons of radioactive tailings, a predominantly sandy material, at a site near downtown Grand Junction. These tailings were used as construction material on more than 4,000 properties in the area. In 1966, the Colorado Department of Health found elevated levels of radon-222 in the tailings. This naturally occurring radioactive gas can cause cancer. Due to this health concern, Climax stopped releasing tailings from the site. In the mid-1980s, remediation began at the mill site and on contaminated private and commercial properties. Contaminated materials were temporarily stored at the mill site. Construction of the Grand Junction disposal site, originally known as the Cheney Disposal Cell, began in 1990 at a location about 18 miles southeast of Grand Junction. The site was chosen for its remoteness, lack of significant groundwater, and it's underlain by 700 feet of Manco Shale, a rock unit with very low permeability. Approximately 4.5 million cubic yards of contaminated processing site materials, including material in temporary storage, were transported to the disposal cell by the end of 1994 using rail cars and trucks. The U.S. Department of Energy, or DOE, completed vicinity property cleanup in 1998 under the Uranium Mill Tailings Remedial Action, or UMTRA, project. The disposal cell is 2,400 feet by 1,800 feet and is approximately 70 feet deep from its highest to its lowest point. The cover consists of an 18-inch clean fill transition layer on top of the tailings, a 24-inch low permeability radon barrier, a 24-inch clay frost protection barrier, a 6-inch river gravel bedding layer, and a 12-inch basalt rock cap. The cell cover is designed to safely hold contaminants in place, reduce erosion from precipitation, and slow water from rushing down the shallow slope of the rocks. Precipitation runoff is directed away from the disposal cell by riprap armored aprons that surround the cell. The open cell accommodates long-term disposal of waste discovered in the city and other UMTRA communities. As of spring 2019, the remaining capacity is 223,000 cubic yards. An evaporation pond at the bottom of the open portion keeps water from saturating the bottom of the cell. 3 monitoring wells track water levels and verify contaminants are not migrating off-site. DOE opens the site annually from spring to fall to receive contaminated materials. Depending on the quantity of material brought to the site, it is either placed and compacted in the open cell or stockpiled for future placement. This entire process is done in accordance with Nuclear Regulatory Commission approved specifications. Most of that material is from utility and roadwork projects in the area. The disposal cell also receives contaminated waste materials from ongoing surface and groundwater cleanup at other Title I sites. Before any trucks arrive with the contaminated materials, all equipment and vehicles are inspected and then transferred inside the contamination area. The next phase involves rubble reduction, segregation, and relocation of materials for blending. The flexible waste containment bags are open for soil removal if applicable. Eventually, all these materials are blended for placement. After completion of the ground prep, the disposal cell is now ready to receive contaminated materials. Trucks carrying radioactive material proceed into the cell for offloading. Heavy machinery stockpiles the materials in the open cell, while water trucks wet everything down for dust suppression and moisture conditioning prior to compaction. Measures are in place to mitigate silica exposure from airborne dust, as well as heat and cold stress through climate control requirements for all vehicles on site. The trucks are then directed to the wash rack for decontamination, using an intense high-pressure wash. A technician scans each truck to ensure there is no contamination present before a truck is permitted to leave the site. The runoff from each pressure wash is carefully collected and distributed into an evaporation pond just south of the wash station. Proctor and density tests ensure all materials are placed to specifications. After all the tailings are blended and tested, the material is first placed in a layer of compacted soil known as a lift. A final smooth drum compaction completes the placement activities. This smooth drum ensures all water drains to the evaporation pond at the bottom of the cell. After compaction, a copolymer soil stabilization product is applied over the entire open cell to lock down the contaminated material and prevent wind and water erosion until the disposal cell is opened again. A final topographic survey of the new surface allows DOE to determine the remaining volume of the cell. Finally, the disposal site demobilizes the crew and equipment and locks down the facility. The Grand Junction disposal site will continue to receive, store, and monitor its contaminated material and ensure the protection of human health and the environment.